They are isolating us all. They are training us to be hopeless. They are training us to submit to them. They are training us incrementally. No water, no milk, no baby food, no shampoo. Take your belt off. Take your shoes off. All acts of submission. Now you have to put your hands in your lap on the flight. Can't put a blanket over your lap. There's national events if somebody has diarrhea in the head on the airplanes. Obama's notified of a man in there for 20 minutes defecating. Again, just this culture of fear and everybody's scared and only Big Brother can save us. As they profit off of the control systems, not only at the top, but all these blue-collar workers that can't get jobs now can get jobs in the TSA, which admits they're rolling out nationwide and in England as well with mobile body scanners, pulling up to bars, forcing everyone through it. Arresting people for no reason. There was an Austin case a few years ago, and it goes on all over Texas, where they come into, in one case, the Radisson Hotel. The guy was a business traveler. They watched him drink 3 beers at the counter. They arrested him for intoxication when he was at a hotel, didn't even have a car. Again, all about getting us in the system, making everyone a criminal. Conditioning us to accept all of this abuse, setting up the face scanning cameras, the license plate reading cameras. They biometrically scan you with this body scanning system. Now they can, with passive scanners on the streets, already going in, shoot through your clothes and get your true identity because they match the scan with your personal ID when you go through the plane, when you go through the checkpoint. So again, mass humiliation, mass public humiliation. The TSA employees themselves, unless they hired the most horrible criminals like Homeland Security has for their private prisons, and like the Pentagon hired jail guards with histories of rape and abuse, that came out to run Abu Ghraib and hundreds of other camps around the world who like to rape people. The sexualization of torture, that all came out. All the torture based around raping people's children in front of them. The Army's own report, General Tagumba's own report. In fact, pull up Army's report on torture, MSNBC, General Tagumba, put that on screen. People won't believe it. Raping children with battery acid, raping children in front of their parents. You go read the Army's own report. Okay, so we have all of that going on. We need to discuss how we boycott them, the most successful and focused way to do it. I will not be taking any pleasure flights. I never do anyways. I've never allowed my children to fly because stuff like this could happen. They could be tasered, they could be killed, anything. But you need to cut back on business, do more teleconferencing. Let the airlines know every time you don't fly, you did it because of this. Because here's the key to the legalese. They say it's a privilege to drive a car. They say it's a privilege to fly, a privilege to own a gun. All of that is a lie. In the 1920s, heavy trucks began to drive on the roads. So they went to people in New Jersey and New York State and said, don't you want a tax on these truckers making all this money? The public said, oh, yes, we don't want them making money. We're greedy. You know, they played that psychological divide and conquer tactic. And so they made truckers get a license. Then by the 50s, everybody had to get a paper license. Now they put points on it. Now they restrict it. Now it's a national ID card through the Real ID Act. Now they have a hemispheric North American Union ID card you can get to travel in North America. We're already going into this system. Commerce on the roads, they've passed laws, is a privilege to go get a commercial driver's license, not to get the regular license. But same thing with the airports. They go into the big airport companies, government paid for, government facilities with private contracts. They go to the big private airlines. Notice private aviation, general aviation, private jets, private Cessnas, Learjets, they don't have to do this. It's because of deals made with the private corporations. They gave the airlines $25 billion in 2002 as the payoff to agree to all of this. They give them billions more each year. They pay them to lobby and to accept, saying it's our policy. And the feds come in out of their jurisdiction, taking over the airports as their jurisdiction unlawfully, and make you go through all these different screening procedures and naked body scanners now. Do you see how they're operating? Do you see how they're getting away with this? Because they make the deal with the airlines to force you to do it. Then the TSA expands to the trains, to the malls, to the streets. They have TSA Viper teams in Houston running checkpoints, in Miami, Florida, in New York City, suddenly at New Year's Eve events in L.A. and New York and all over the place. Troops, regular troops are out there, troop checkpoints, National Guard, searching people, wanding them. Just more and more conditioning, more and more bringing you into this. And remember, the Amsterdam airport had the body scanners. Until we have a broken people through the Stockholm Syndrome that submit to this. And if you'll submit to naked body scanners and knowing your family's being recorded and knowing you're being biometrically scanned, you'll put up with anything. Meanwhile, we have all the billboards and all the TV ads and radio ads and propaganda placement in the dramas on television and these news programs about how torture's good, secret arrest is good, sexual abuse is good. Did you guys find the MSNBC Army's report on torture, General Tagumbu? Yeah, I want it up. I want to show people. I don't want to just say something. I want them to see it. I know it's real, but they need to be faced with it. So all of this is how the government's our big daddy. They're going to take care of us. They're the boss. Literally half the billboards when I drove to Dallas, interviewed Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, half the billboards were report illegal guns, report child abuse. The government cares about you. Flashing billboards about a grandma who's got Alzheimer's. Always meant to sound reasonable. Now suddenly the billboards are saying report terrorists, report illegal guns. Now they're putting out the Orwellian Running Man type messages. So again, if they tried to make TSA people actually take women, children in and strip them, people would physically realize how abusive this is. But by having the instrumentality of a machine, a quackery, it has this scientific glow to it. Like it's okay if the man is looking at a scan of your wife's most detailed body parts on her breasts and genitals and caboose. It doesn't matter if all of that's going on. It doesn't matter if your 5-year-old son or daughter are being put through it and they're being recorded. It's okay. And public schools from Tennessee, Missouri, and California have all been caught, mainstream news, recording girls in the showers, putting it on police databases, sharing it. So all of this government data they always grab gets leaked. We know this will be leaked, of Hollywood stars and others. So it's literally a strip search. So people need to realize that that is what it's doing. And again, we have the sexualization of torture. We have the White House pushing it. We have it continuing, expanding under Obama. And the biggest group, the number one body of scholarships for college and community college now, especially inner city youth, they have Homeland Security through the police departments taking over the Boy Scouts Explorer program. 3,000 graduates in L.A. alone this year. That's in the L.A. Times. Training them for warrant service to, quote, take on disgruntled vets. New York Times, images of dead vets in mock shootouts with the 14-year-old Boy Scouts. Where all the jobs, the scholarships, everything is for data mining, tracking, surveilling, controlling, which the private banking interest owns and controls and makes money with and pays off people in Homeland Security and the Pentagon by having the Pentagon and Homeland Security, when they're in office, call for more of this. Then as soon as they leave office, they get executive positions in all these companies. So that's another way to go after this, is with the insider payoffs, the graft, the corruption. And that is the basic rundown on all of this. There's a lot of other facets. Here's the Boston Globe. Group slams Chertoff on scanner promotion because he's making money off of it with his security consulting. Here's the Boston Globe. Close shot of that. There's the Army report right there. U.S. Army report on Iraqi prisoner abuse. The actual report, 2004. Raping children with battery acid in front of their parents. That's who runs things. This is psychopaths setting up their wonderland, setting up their psychology, selling you with all the TV and movie heroes, torturing people's children to get the answers. In the real world, it's going on. Homeland Security had a C-SPAN party when Governor Ridge was in, praising Jack Bauer as their mascot. Totally sick. Frank in New York, you're on the air. Go ahead. Can you guys bring up Frank in New York, please?
Thanks, Alex. A Happy New Year. Yeah, you've done a tremendous job alerting people to the dangers of this. What I think is going to have to be done, Alex, is people are going to have to charge the people operating the machines with, creating pornography. And they're going to have to...
well, they're going to claim federal immunity, but they don't have immunity because they do it in this federal power grab on the airport reservations that are now metastasizing out.
But the point is, people are going to have to bring the cases before the court, and also they're going to have to... You can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. Go ahead.
No, you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. I agree with you.
And this is an important issue, too. This is really an unlawful search and seizure because there's no probable cause.
Yes.
And ultimately, that is what has to be brought in the lawsuit, and also the fact that the insiders, in violation of laws that were passed in the 1970s, have a conflict of interest in the government with their private investments that are not put in blind trusts. And the law has to come down on them using RICO to do that. And it means everyone from George Bush's father, former President Bush 41, Bill Clinton, numerous senators, and the neocons that were in, both administrations.
I agree with you.
All
Great
of those
points.
have to be.
Great point, Frank. I appreciate your call. Eric in Pennsylvania, go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Alex Jones. Pleasure to speak to you once again.
Welcome.
All right, so I have a solution here. If I was Alex Jones, what I would do is I would put a downloadable MP3 file on my website, like Infowars.com, along with the flyer. The flyer can have pictures of, like, the woman getting her body scanned, the naked picture. I would put the naked picture right on the flyer.